Hi, all my lovely Sagittariuses, and welcome to the Sagittarius Sun, Moon, and Rising June 2021 Love, Abundance, and Spiritual Health reading. So welcome to everybody new and returning. This is I Am Illuminated, Tarot and Meaning-Based Spiritual Coaching Services. I am Lauren, and welcome. So this reading takes a look at the areas of love, abundance, and spiritual health specifically. I'll go ahead and pull a card for each, and then I will provide you with a message that comes through intuitively, and then we'll follow up with a couple additional tarot cards and any additional messages that want to come through. We are specifically looking to see what to expect in this month in each one of these areas, and looking for potential blocks, and then looking to provide advice as to how to navigate around them so that you can continue to stay in flow and connected and personally engaged with your external environment so that you can really reap the benefits of this month. And again, stay connected to those feelings of emotional fulfillment and flow and happiness instead of being blocked and feeling the opposite. Okay, Sagittarius, I'm going to go ahead and I'm using the Power of Surrender deck to pull a card for love, because I do find that love requires us to be vulnerable. And often the blockages that occur in the area of love come from our inability to surrender on some level to make us vulnerable in love. And when I talk about love, I can talk about romantic love. I can also talk about the love between two individuals, whether it's familial or friend or on a friendship level. And I also talk about love in a grander sense as the name of the connective life force, the energy that connects everything from the smallest molecule to the largest star in the sky, and how that really there's an element of intelligent design and how we're all connected on this deep, small and large level. Sorry guys, I have something coming through there. And how we're all connected on this, from the smallest thing to the largest thing, all connected in our divine perfection. And that really is that quality of divine love, that we are all perfect and part of this design, this intelligent design. Okay, so for you guys, we have Sagittarius. I feel like this is so funny. We have surrender to rest and sleep. And it says, to prevent burnout, slow down. Honor your need for quiet time and peaceful sleep to rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. And the reason why I say I find this funny is because Sagittarius, you are a fire sign. And you are actually the mutable fire sign, which means that you're the one that's really getting out there and working with your passions. You are the spiritual adventurer. And so most of the time, you guys are the ones going out there and taking action. And I feel from just knowing Sagittariuses in my life, they are the go, go, go type people. You guys are always have your hands in something new. And so to be told to surrender to rest and sleep is interesting to me, because I feel like it goes a little bit against your just kind of innate way of being. But when you relate this to the energy of love, when you think about being vulnerable in love, and you think about how sometimes love can actually be a very draining experience when we do have blockages in it, because we are not being able to express love in an authentic way. It becomes kind of more forced, or we feel we're not receiving, and so there's an imbalance in what we feel we're giving and what we feel we're receiving. And the one thing I can say for surrender to rest and sleep is that when we are not surrendering to tapping into our emotional core and feeling into our physical body as well, and seeing how those two line up, that what can end up happening is that we are pushing ourselves to go past a natural kind of breaking point. And that can actually then leak. So on a physical level, that can leak into our emotional level. And we can then become just emotionally drained. And where this can become a blockage is that we don't have enough, enough emotional capacity to give love in our most intimate relationships. Meaning that we maybe have pushed ourselves on the physical level or pushed ourselves on all kinds of other, it could be pushing yourself on a mental level. You're studying way too hard, or you're overthinking something. Or on a spiritual level, maybe you're, again, going down this rabbit hole of wanting to question the universe, and all of a sudden you're confronted with love in however form it's coming in for you. So let's use romantic love as an example. Your significant other is then perhaps asking for your time, asking for emotional connection, and you are so exhausted that you don't have the ability to reciprocate love in an open channel, in an open way to meet what your significant other is giving and what your significant other is also expressing that they need in return. And that can create an imbalance. That can create a block. Now, this, like a tangible, specific example of this would be you, let's say, coming home from work and you have been just on a mental level thinking through this project and working, and you've been pushing yourself to the point where you knew you probably should have gone home like 1 or 2 hours ago. And instead you've pushed yourself, and maybe you've done this all week, and you've been pushing. It's not, you're mentally drained, but you're also physically drained, and you're not realizing and tapping into how this is emotionally draining you as well, which is really where the seat of when we think about love and how we interpret and feel the energy of love is through feeling. It's through our emotional core. And so now you go home and your partner is standing there with a glass of wine ready to engage with you about your work week and the day, and they're wanting to get all lovey-dovey and talk about, again, and snuggle and do all this stuff, and you're just like, I can't. I can't. I can't think about, I can't join in the fun of cooking dinner with you, and I can't enjoy sharing my work week because instead all I can say is I'm mentally drained. I have nothing to say. I have nothing to give. All I can do is be a vegetable on the couch and watch Netflix quietly, or you just simply can't meet them at the emotional level the emotional level of intimacy that they're looking to receive from you. And it's not because you don't want to. It's not because you legitimately are annoyed that they're asking about your day. It's just that you've drained yourself. We only have so much energy to go around. And what we forget is that our emotional ability is just like our mental ability, just like our physical ability, just like our spiritual ability. At some point, as we're flexing it, as we're using it, we can't use it indefinitely. So just like doing, bicep curls, you can only do it for so long. Even the strongest person in the world eventually is going to get a cramp, or the weight is going to be too heavy. Something's going to happen. Something gives. And that happens in our emotional world. And oftentimes that happens when we've gone too far in another aspect of our environment. So I'm really seeing that your block here this month in the kind of realm and energy of love and being able to receive and give effectively is probably stemming it is coming from your fact that you're emotionally exhausted, but there's an underlying cause. And the underlying cause is coming from one of the other 3 aspects of your experience. Most likely it's going to be physical or mental. It's very rare that somebody is going to get spiritually drained. Spiritually drained really comes into play when you are either tapping into a soul ability and really trying to work with that, or where you are kind of receiving on an empathetic level from another, or where you're actually diving into the spiritual component of your experience. So you're really getting into perhaps a religious practice, like you're meditating on a very intense level. There is a component to our spiritual side where we can actually over meditate. It is possible. We can over consume in all areas, overexert and over consume. So yes, even on a spiritual level, you could be over instead of medicating, over meditating, or just diving really deep into a spiritual practice that does then physically and emotionally drain you and mentally drain you. So this month is really being careful and aware of how much you are pushing yourself past your limit in probably the physical or the mental aspect of yourself. So where are you overthinking? And where are you pushing yourself physically to keep going? To go from this task to this task, to that task to this task. This month is a month of realizing you can't do it all. And that actually, that's the biggest block in the give and receive of energy, that there are people around you at all times that are able to then give energy, give the energy of love to you through support, through being able to step in and help. But you have to be able to realize that. You have to be able to admit it to yourself, to surrender to rest and sleep, that you need rest and sleep. And that it's okay to express that as a need. It's okay to say, I am physically exhausted. I just can't do it all. I just can't go to work, sit in all these meetings, and then also take care of the kids, and then also have dinner ready, and then also have this presentation made 100%. Or let's say you don't have a family and it's just you, but maybe you have all these social commitments. And you're like, I really want to do something creative. But instead, you're trying to do all these social commitments. So you're putting a lot of external energy out there, both physically and mentally and emotionally. And maybe you're also trying to do a creative project on the side. And that's going to be spiritually and emotionally draining. And you're going to have to realize like something's going to have to give there. Because you're not going to get the most out of the interpersonal interactions when you're in your social setting, as well as getting the most out of your creative endeavors, because you're going to be spread so thin that it's going to be coming through and blocking you from being able to receive love from both your interpersonal one-on-one interactions as well as the love that comes through in creating divine work. So this month, be very aware of where you're over promising, over just trying to do everything, where you're just convinced I have to do it. And step back and realize that the energy of love flows best when we are vulnerable, when we can say, I can't do it, when you actually have to admit to yourself, I can't do it all. And then that's when your partners, whether it be in love or work or in other capacities, are going to come through and say, we get to be of service and help you. We're here to help. And so you reopen that channel of love by simply saying, I need help. But you have to admit to yourself, you have to be aware of it first. You can't wait till that burnout happens, because that gets the breaking point, and that's actually where you get that blockage of love that almost bottlenecks, and that's where the intense fight with your significant other happens. Instead of this beautiful give and take of, sweetie, I am just exhausted and I just physically can't do this, or I just mentally can't do this. And that's where they get to step in and say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize what's going on. How can I help? How can I be of service to you? Instead, you had that breaking point where you're like, ah. And it's those kinds of fights that have this underlying tension to them that end up not being productive and end up severing actually your ability to continue to receive and share love in an open and receptive and beneficial way. So don't feel bad if you have to take a nap, or if you have to say no to that social event, or if you have to even tell your boss if you're being given a project to say, you know, I'm going to need a little help with this. Can I ask so-and-so to help me on this project? Before you get to the point where you're bleary-eyed and frustrated and then you snap and write this nasty email that you instantly regret. So give everybody else a chance to provide support and love to you, and showing your vulnerability and being able to say, I need a break this month in some aspect of my life so that I can continue to feel the benefits of love and feel that I'm also being able to give love in a beneficial way. All right, Sagittarius. Now we're going to move into, where's the rest of my deck? We're going to move into taking a look at abundance. Now, abundance, of course, can mean financial abundance. I think we'd all, as I've said many times over, we'd all love to be wildly wealthy, most of us anyways, but abundance can come in all forms. And abundance often, at different times in our life, can mean different things. So there can be times in our lives where maybe we're financially stable and we would prefer to have more of an abundance of time. Time to spend on a creative project, time to spend with family. Or we want more of an abundance of peace and tranquility and a feeling of purpose. Or more abundance of being able to enjoy the company of friends and family. So we're looking at whatever abundance means to you in this moment. So let's see what... Ooh, sorry if any of you guys can hear that. I'm hungry. My stomach growling. Okay, let's see what could be a possible blockage for you guys in the area of abundance. Ooh. All right, so we have a time, or it says just time to go. And it's number 45. Interesting. Sagittarius, this is a little deeper than some of my other readings. What this card really is denoting is that there is some aspect of your life that has wrapped up. It's been finalized. And it's now time to go. It's time to move on. It's time to leave whatever part of yourself is wrapping up behind so that you can start new and basically start your next cycle. Now, the number 45 in numerology breaks down to, so you do 4 plus 5, breaks down to the number 9. And the number 9 is the completion of a cycle. We have basically 10. The number 10 is a cycle in the tarot, but 9 is getting to that culmination point. 10 is the release, and in the 10, you have both the 1 new start and the 0, kind of the 0 point field of all new possibilities coming forward, moving into the new cycle. So 9 really is that culmination point. It's also, the 9 harnesses the energy of having, learned and being able to apply the knowledge that you've gained in going through that cycle and now completing it. So there is this kind of magic divinity to the number 9 of the magician, of being able to understand what you're working with. And again, it's understanding how to apply it. So for you guys, there is some aspect of your life right now in the area of abundance that is wrapping up. And where we can kind of come into a block in receiving abundance in whatever area you guys are hoping for abundance is not being able to let whatever is releasing, whatever cycle is closing, go to be able to make room for what's coming in. So let's say this is abundance in, let's say, financial matters. So we'll just make it very broad. Let's say you have been working in a place for quite some time and you have kind of learned everything you can get from that specific environment. Maybe there is no additional growth for you. Maybe you work in a small company and there's no place for you to be promoted to. And so It's not that you're not doing a great job, and it's not that you maybe don't like the work, but at this point, you're not being challenged anymore. And on a soul level, there's more to come into you. You're being pushed to realize that there is more that's waiting to come kind of down the spiritual pipeline for you. And what's happening now is that you are sitting here in this job, kind of frustrated that you can't make more money because there's really no additional upward growth for you, nor are you able to learn anything else about yourself because you have kind of tapped this opportunity out. Perhaps you did when you first took this job. You got a chance to learn about yourself. Got to push yourself in areas that you didn't even know you could do. Maybe you were pushed to get into marketing and you never realized that you had this like awesome sales side to yourself, or you were pushed to really learn specific computer programs or computer software systems that you had never been in contact with prior, and now you are a master at those. Or you learned that you could be a great teacher or manager or whatever, fill in the blank. And so up to this point, there was a purpose for you maintaining this job, which was either to elevate you on a financial level or elevate you on a ability level. And now you've hit that ceiling. And now what Spirit's asking you to do is to say, in order to continue your spiritual evolution, it's time for you to move on. And there's more coming down for you. We want more to come in, but it can't break through that ceiling. And so what you're doing is you're being asked to walk away. You're being asked to allow Spirit to move you to a new location where there is no ceiling and where they can allow you to have what's coming in. So if you're wanting more on the financial level, but it's not going to be able to come through where you are currently, Spirit's pushing you to, it's time to release. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to just get up and walk out of your job. What it does mean is that it's time to seriously start consciously being aware of the fact that there is no more room for growth and that you can't keep asking your boss for this raise when he doesn't have any grounds really to provide you with one, because raises aren't just contingent on you having been there for X amount of time. Raises are showing how much you are of value to the company, and perhaps you are tapped out at that point. Maybe you're doing the best you can, but you just can't give anymore. No matter how hard you work, the profit margin that you help the company achieve is just never going to get beyond a specific point. So now you just have to realize, okay, this company can't give me that. It's not to sit there and then sit and complain that the owner's an asshole and the company is not giving me what I believe my fair share should be. Instead, it's making you realize that this frustration that you have towards the company and their inability to either challenge you on a new level or provide you with additional monetary compensation is showing you what the universe is trying to show you, which is we want to bring more in. We do. You want more. You're asking for more abundance in this area. We are prepared to give it to you. But you have to be aware of the change that's coming in, and you have to be an active participant in making this change happen. That's where free will and destiny come into play. So you're asking the universe to give you more. Well, the universe wants to give you more. But you have to be an active participant in meeting them halfway with your free will. What does that look like? That looks like you brushing up your LinkedIn profile. That looks like you going and updating your resume. That looks like you talking to friends and seeing if anybody knows anybody who'd be hiring in this specific area. That's you actually doing some meditation and contemplation around, do I even want to stay in this industry? Does this even feel right to me anymore? That's you taking the time to put and direct energy towards moving you out of your current position, but doing it in a very cognizant and aware way. And not in a way where you're like, F my job, F the universe for not giving me what I want. It's in realizing, no, the seat of control, the seat of power is within yourself to take action and make decisions that come from yourself authentically. And so this is really, this month is about getting back into that seat of control as to, okay, what needs to change and be released in my life? What's wrapped up? What have I, this can actually apply to your home environment too. Maybe you've tapped out on the space that you're living in and your family needs more room, including yourself. Maybe you're trying to have a side creative project and you have no room to do so. Or you're constantly being distracted by your 3 children who are on top of you all the time. And you can't get any more out of the environment that you're in. And it's not that maybe you don't love the home or loved the home when you first moved in, or that you don't love the area. But now you know it's time to expand because it's going to elevate everybody's experience. And for you, if you're trying to call in abundance, let's say on being able to appreciate time with family, or calling in abundance in the realm of I want to create more, I want to be able to work with my creative talents. Well, now the universe is saying, well, you're going to have to take a chance. You might have to risk putting money down to move the family to a larger place. But this month, it's not about having to pick your family up and move. It's about realizing that it is time to walk away from the home. But what are those small steps of action, courageous action that you can take to start that planning process, to start to admit to yourself, I thought this is going to be our forever home, but it's not. We weren't expecting to have 3 kids. Now we have 3 beautiful children. But the space isn't working. So now what can I do? What are the action steps that I can start to take to realize that we have to let this part of our experience go? And does that mean looking at how you can save a little extra money so that by this time next year you have the ability to move into the home that you want? Or starting to look in different areas, maybe outside of where you currently live, that are more affordable, that would allow you for the same amount of money to move into a larger space? Or to go online and just start looking at how people get creative in reorganizing their current space to give everybody more space. Sometimes it's on us to think outside of the box, but it's just in the awareness that we have to change something. We have to release something. And this could be that you actually have to release your tie to a bunch of old material objects. That in reality, in your home, you have enough space for everybody, but there's one whole room being taken over by a bunch of old junk that you see as valuable, but yet needs to be cleared away, needs to be given away. Maybe it was all of your grandmother's beautiful antique things, but in reality, clinging to these things in the material are preventing you and your family from being able to realize this additional space that can become a creative office. Or just that's the hub of creativity for everybody to have their own alone time. And this is where, when we become aware of something that we need to walk away from and something we have to release to be able to bring abundance that we're asking for to come in, we have to be open. We have to be curious as to what that looks like. Not just make a supposition of like, well, if I walk away from this house, it must mean I have to get a bigger house and I don't have money and I can't do this and I can't, and we all of a sudden like block ourselves off from receiving the abundance that's meant to come in. And so we have to stay open. We have to work through those negative and scary, fear-based, anxiety-based thoughts of, well, I can't and I can't change and I don't want to interact with my uncontrollable environment. Instead, we say, no. We're coming from the seat of our personal power where we can make decisions. And if I have to get creative, or if I have to get rid of, or donate all of this stuff that I've had to open up this space in my current place because I don't have the money to move into a larger space, then this is where I need to release. And this is where I have faith that the abundance is going to come in. So There is going to be something this month that you're going to be asked to release, but have no fear, because the abundance that you're asking to be called in that's what you'll be, as you release it, you'll be walking towards the abundance, or just simply making space for the abundance to come in. All right. And now we're going to look at, so this is a spirit animal oracle deck, and we're going to be looking at spiritual health. So spiritual health is, how well are you engaging your internal, authentic, unique spiritual self with your external environment? Meaning, how much are you aware in your day-to-day tasks and in your day-to-day decisions that you make? How aware are you of yourself, and how you make those decisions and how you complete those tasks? Are you actually making decisions based from a place of filling your own needs and being able to authentically express yourself as you take action? So that's what we're going to be looking at here as we go to pull a spirit animal. And for some reason, I always feel like, ooh, as I say that, out comes the card. All right, guys, so let me get these tucked down here. We have Canary Spirit, sing your own song. It's number 12. Love that number. So the number 12 to me, this is just me personally, it denotes, because it reduces to the number 3 in numerology, it really denotes our connection with the divine. When I think of, the Trinity in the Christian religion, but there's also this element of the number 3 really brings the energy of kind of greeting everything with the attitude of a child. This innocent quality, this ability to want to express ourselves, again, in a kind of innocent, open way. And so I'm kind of getting that mixed in here with this sing your own song. Such a beautiful card. So what I'm feeling here in the realm of spiritual health is that, and kind of what I'm getting through here with like needing to take a rest, needing to release something for something else to come in. There is this component with spiritual health when we're looking at how well are we integrating and utilizing and expressing our internal selves and engaging that with our external environment, that there's an element here that I feel like you guys have been holding yourself back a little bit. And that this month specifically, you're being asked to be authentic. Whether that is asking to rest when you need the rest, asking for help when you also need rest, or whether it's in walking away from something in full knowledge of knowing that there's something better that's more aligned with you coming in. But whatever it is, you're being asked to express yourself, to express your authentic self, and to do what you need to do to be able to do that well. Because if you think about it, if you think about being this canary can't sing his own song if he is in constant flight. If you notice, most birds will sing when they are on a branch or on something and they are not in flight. And so what's coming through for me here is kind of integrating all of your messages, is that this month is really about taking a step back and moving into a place of maybe going a little outside again of your general just natural state of being, which is go, 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 say yes to everything and burn yourself out. This is about sitting and kind of coming back to your center and realizing, in order for you to authentically express yourself, that you're being asked to do, that you have to take the time to land. You have to take the time to rest. And Spirit's asking you to sing your own song. Spirit's asking you, it's giving you that kind of go ahead of you can, if you want more creativity in your life, well, we want you to express it. We want you to be more creative. If you want more love in your life, we want to help you get there and receive it. But you have to be able to admit that you have to leave something behind and release something. You have to admit that you can't do it all, that there's some aspect of your life where you're exhausted and you have to just take a break and be vulnerable. And just like a canary can be vulnerable stationary instead of flying and moving from this to that to this to that, you have to stay basically open and vulnerable in a state of stillness. And from there, you're going to reconnect with your own internal song, your own internal self, and you're going to realize that that's probably an area that you haven't been expressing healthfully up until this point or for quite some time. So in order to really maintain this strength of a healthy balance between, again, how you interact your internal self and live your internal unique abilities and authentically express that and engage that with your external environment, in order to do that, you're going to have to come to a place of stillness, come to a place of quiet rest this month, and come to a place of acceptance. There's an overall feeling of general acceptance of your current state and how it needs to change in the moment. I do get this feeling that you need to change a little bit of your dynamics with significant others or a boss relationship or some other significant relationship in your life, to where you become more vulnerable. And perhaps you've been the strong one, and now it's time for you to become the more vulnerable one, to help open up that channel of love, to allow those interpersonal connections to really thrive and be beneficial to you, as well as to be vulnerable and realizing that you can let something go, and to have full knowledge that it's going to be replaced by so much more. And then you're going to be able to reconnect beautifully with your own internal self, which has probably been dimmed down a little bit through exhaustion, and you're being asked now to sit with the stillness, allow for these changes to come through from a place of vulnerability, because the universe wants you to sing your own song again. There's something in you that is divinely being called out and back into service, back into play. Beautiful messages this month for you guys, Sagittarius. I've had some super light fun readings and some super heavy readings. Scorpios yesterday just took it out of me, like so heavy. It was a great message, but it was just like intense. You guys, it's like, I feel like I can rest with you. I feel like there's like just this divine like knowing and faith that everything's going to work out, that I hope is coming through, and I'm hoping you can tap into and really feel that. Okay, let's see what is coming through. I'm going to pull a couple additional tarot cards here for you guys, just to see any additional messages that want to come out. Any additional messages for our Sagittariuses for June? Quiet. Usually this deck cards just like fly out left and right. But you guys, are you already sitting nice and quietly? Are you moving into that place of peaceful serenity? Any additional cards for Sagittarius? Ooh, one. Okay, let's see. Got one that came out. Let's see if there's any other ones. Let's do another couple. Ooh, okay, two more came out here. Okay, so we have, the Five of Coins came out first by itself, and then we have the Four of Swords and the Two of Wands. This is perfect. Okay, so the Five of Coins really focuses on this feeling of kind of being all alone and out in the cold in your physical world, that you don't have the support and the resources, and that you're kind of all by yourself. And it's interesting that then it's followed by these two cards, which the Four of Swords is a divine pause. It's a pause of reflection. It's a pause of reflection to be able to move forward from this point of reflection with your personal truth, to release old stories, negative experiences of the past, to move forward with strength with your sword of personal truth. So again, this is the divine pause. And what this is asking, then coupled with the Two of Wands, is this is making a decision to take action from a place of passion. Where do you want to go next? So what this is telling me here is that there's this element of feeling right now, kind of like what I was coming through prior, which was, which was, I don't have the support, I don't have the resources, and feeling like something needs to change, but feeling like you can't change it because you don't have the resources. Or that if you try to call in abundance, it's not going to come through for you. And it's because you're not letting something go. But this is a card of feeling like you are out in the cold by yourself. So what you're being asked to do is to move away from this energy and realize that you're actually blocking yourself off from help. No one can do it alone, and no one is truly ever alone and out in the cold. We just have to make ourselves vulnerable enough to ask for help, to realize when we need it, to realize when we have to rely on others as much as those people have relied on us at different times. That's the grand balance in life. Because once you can do that, what you're moving into is this beautiful divine pause to be able to reconnect with your inner truth. And then with that truth, you will be then asked to make a decision as to where to go from now. What do you want to call into your life? What do you want to take action on? But you need this divine pause to be able to have the rest and rejuvenation needed to be able to see your truth clearly, to be able to see your personal song and sing it clearly, and to make that decision as to where you're going to go with that from here. So this is a beautiful message this month. This is just showing you to remember that you're not alone. All it takes is to be a little vulnerable this month to say, I need help. And maybe this is the first time in a long time you've been able to say that, or to make that realization, or to have the realization that something has to give. And to have faith that others around you will be there to help and provide the help. And that the whole purpose of this is so that you have that moment of divine rest, to reconnect with spirit, to reconnect with yourself, to find your sword of truth, so that you can then come out of this month making that fresh decision to take action from a place of passion towards this new endeavor. Beautiful. All right, my lovely Sagittariuses, I hope you have a good and restful rest of the month. I will see you back here for July's messages. If you are interested in getting additional messages for the week, I will be posting each week a weekly energetic blockage clearing, pick a card reading, which allows for an additional message specific to the week. Helps you tap into your intuition through feeling into what message is right for you. In addition to that, if you are interested, I do have an Instagram as well, which is I Am Illuminated. And on there this week, we are starting the lesson of working with the principle of curiosity and how that can help really liberate us and start the process of self-illumination, but through liberating us from fear and anxiety towards the unknown. All right, guys, a link to my website is in the description box below if you'd like to book a personal reading or a one-on-one coaching session. Also, there are other little links in there too to additional supportive videos that I've made. Again, I hope you all have a wonderful, restful, and lovingly supportive month. I will see you back in July.